A live look at Apple stock right now. It's down at about 460, down about 9–10% today, although it's climbed back a buck or two since the open. But you can see, as I'm joined now by Rob Searan of Reuters Breaking Views, that it really, whoa, from 704, those halcyon days back in September.
Yes, and it's now, the market is officially panicking, I think we can say.
All right, so 18 brokerages at last count slashing their price targets on this stock at an average of 135 bucks. You, sir, have been on here saying recently, don't nobody panic.
and everyone panicked.
And everyone
that's
panics,
the problem.
That this company is now just acting more like a normal company. But nobody wants this company to be a normal company. It's not a normal company. It hasn't been.
The thing is that there are various styles of investors. And growth investors looked at the numbers last night and they said, okay, revenue is up 17%, I think it was. That's good. However, earnings growth is flat, and that's something you never ever want to see as growth investors. They've all left the building if they haven't already left the building, the past few months.
Right.
And now what's happened is that value investors are going to come in and they're going to say, okay, this stock, it's got 30% of its value is in cash. They could return a lot, and also the company's got about $50 billion of free cash flow. That's a lot. They could double their dividend easily.
So the turning point from a growth stock to a value stock
is a problematic. It's kind of like the teenage years of you look ugly and no one wants to be around you type of thing.
All right, Tim Cook would be really happy to hear you say that right now. But let's look at some Apple suppliers here, because we've talked a lot about the sort of halting on some chips and screens and parts, and Cirrus Logic, the biggest loser today, down at almost 7%.
Yeah, it makes sense. Everyone again is panicking. Everyone's saying, but the problem is these companies they're going to sell additional parts to other companies. So I think that's a bit overreaction as well.
All right, hedge funds. The stock is obviously a big staple in hedge funds. David Einhorn has come out and said, he's staying long on it. What do you think?
Well, Apple is known as like a hedge fund hotel, like almost like remember Roach motels,
check
where
in,
you can check in, you can't check out.
Right.
And a lot of hedge funds are momentum players. That means they see a stock starting to rise, they get into it, and then they ride it up. The problem is when everyone wants to get out, like happens today, then there's a big rush for the doors and the stock kind of overreacts.
Yeah.
Einhorn isn't quite that way. He's more of a fundamental investor. So I suspect we'll have to see when the numbers come out, but I suspect we'll see a lot of hedge funds have dumped the stock.
You've now compared Apple to awkward teenagers and roaches. Congratulations.
Thank you.
ETFs, also a staple in ETFs, and we're taking a look at some of them with big Apple exposure right now, of course.
Yeah,
some red arrows.
Apple's the biggest company. It's the most valuable company in the world. An ETF has to mirror the market. And so these companies have to take a stake in Apple portion to Apple size in the market. Apple size is down, so they're selling off their stocks.
All right, let's move on and talk about Netflix in this upside down day that we
Bizarro
have here.
day, yeah.
Bizarro world from Seinfeld, of course, because Netflix up 37% today, of course, after those surprisingly strong earnings from last night.
They turned a profit. A lot of this is short covering. If you look at the company, they're not making much cash at all, and they've got a huge amount of debt off balance sheet. And so, kind of some investors look at it and say, Netflix is going to take over the world. And other people are saying, look, the company's bleeding a huge amount of cash. It can't survive. And so the numbers came out yesterday. No one's going to be persuaded except a lot of shorts have probably had to cover.
The good news was that they added all these subscribers. I mean, 4 million worldwide, 2 million in the US, and they seem really dedicated to expanding content, not only in their big purchases like at Disney, but with original content like House of Cards, the show that they've got with Kevin Spacey coming up February 1st, I believe.
And again, the Bulls are going to say, look, they've added all these customers. The Bears will say, well, they don't make any money on these customers.
Yeah,
so,
well, Carl Icahn, he paid a cool, 400 mil?
He's about doubled his money.
So you think he's dumping out? What do you think?
I would suspect so. Carl's a very smart man, and if he's already doubled his money, you have to think he's going to, at some point, he's going to take some money off the table. Don't forget when he went into, what was the Netflix, who did Netflix completely destroy? I've completely forgotten the name. Blockbuster. He was a director of Blockbuster,
That's
had
right.
a big stake, and he rode the company almost to zero. So I suspect he's going to say, okay, let's take some cash off the table.
Let's get out. All right. Microsoft finally, because their earnings come out after the bell today. Stock's up about 1% right now. Surface tablet, not doing all that much. Windows 8, traction
not
there.
doing well at all.
Yeah.
Go into a Microsoft store if you want to hear like a cricket. There's just nothing going on there. And the problem is with Windows 8 is...
you won't see roaches, but you'll hear crickets.
Exactly. I'm on a roll today, aren't I?
Yes.
So the problem is that the Windows 8 seems like a dog. to be frank.
It's from the gamut of the animal kingdom. Crickets.
Amazon,
Yes.
Microsoft, they've got a business which, it can churn out a lot of cash. And businesses aren't fleeing PCs. They're slowly starting to inch over to Apple. But Microsoft's, the earnings should be really boring, to be frank. I could be completely wrong, so we'll see at the end of the day.
Very quickly, because we've got to wrap fairly soon, but very quickly, the Dell deal, should Microsoft get in on that and taking Dell private? And, could they use the hardware from Dell in terms of the Windows 8?
It's more about the prices, right? They've got a lot of cash, and it's the type of thing they can get in. And then they get a bit out of it, too, because they can just go to Dell and say, hey, how about those Windows 8 phones? Wouldn't it be great to have all your phones on Windows 8? And Dell will probably do it.
All right, Rob Siren, you can check in, and we'll let you check out. All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm going to move now to the hotspot by myself, and as I do, remember there are snaps at the bottom of the screen for more headlines of the day. Very quickly here, Boeing, the ongoing story that we're following here, up 1.5% today. United Airlines CEO, they are the only U.S. carrier United Airlines is that's actually operating those 787 Dreamliner planes. They're confident that Boeing's going to take care of this, fix those batteries or whatever else it is that is the cause of the problems for them, having all these mishaps and being grounded. The U.S. National Transportation Safety Board is reviewing a case of a whistleblower at the company that makes the chargers for the lithium-ion batteries. They're based out of Tucson, Arizona, called SecurePlane Technologies. The NTSB has investigators out there. They're checking over the plant. This guy who was the whistleblower was let go. The company says it has nothing to do with him saying that there were problems with the chargers, that the batteries did ignite, that it was employee misconduct for the reason that he was let go, that the two are not connected at all. But they say that there are actually more than one case of whistleblowers coming forward, not unusual in something like this, so they're investigating. No further details on the other cases on that. That does it for us here at Trading at Noon. Remember, follow us on Twitter at Reuters Insider, and there are more great videos at Reuters.com/ReutersTV. I'm Lisa Bernhard. This is Reuters.